Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Will Michael in for Judy Simpson. Thank you for choosing Across the Fence. If you're interested in animals, I think you'll be intrigued and excited with today's program and guest. We begin with the fact that no two dairy farms are exactly alike. In fact, farms vary widely when it comes to things like the size of the herd or the layout of the milking parlor, and certainly the output of milk. But one thing that all dairy farms share in common is interaction between cows and people. Well, recently, an internationally known expert in animal handling and veterinary care visited Vermont. He led several educational workshops designed to help farmers improve their interactions with their cows. And that's where Judy was on site and filed this report for the Channel 3 News.
These dairy farmers are learning to think more like their cows.
These calves do not know how to herd in the modern dairy, so we're going to teach them how to herd.
It's an important lesson because half of all dairy farm accidents happen when trying to get a cow to head into the dairy barn.
Hold them for 30 seconds.
These farmers are learning low-energy animal handling techniques from Don Hoglund, an internationally acclaimed veterinarian and animal trainer. He says understanding how a cow learns is the key to improving handling skills.
Consumers are very concerned about animal welfare these days, and so are dairymen. So we teach and aid dairymen with technique, methodology, and learning first how animals learn. Humans need to understand how animals learn. Then it becomes very important to be consistent throughout the life of the animal.
Hoglund's visit to Vermont is part of a workshop series put together by UVM Extension, the Ben & Jerry's Caring Dairy Program, Vermont Tech, and other financial sponsors as well.
Negative reinforcement is you're going to lower the energy when that baby does what you want it to do.
Hoglund says understanding how cows move and see the world will help their handlers reduce stress and motivate their cows to do something at the appropriate time, making for calmer cows. And relaxed cows give more milk. And just working with these calves for an hour has made a difference.
Yes, it has already. You know, I've been a lifelong farmer, and I've always kind of pushed calves around. I know you want to stay a little calm, but just that you can actually not say much of anything and just stick your hands in your pockets and just put them where you want them.
By teaching them that if they yield to the farmer's quiet pressure and stand still, they'll be left alone. This farm has 300 cows. Training them to move around the barn and milking parlor when they're young will benefit not only the cows, but the farmer for years to come. Hoglund says it's a win-win training program.
It is safe for the dairyman, but it must be safe for human and animal simultaneously. So we look at safety, we look at efficiency, not just effectiveness, but efficiency. If it's efficient, it's effective.
And when practiced in the pen, the results were immediate.
It's definitely an honor, and it makes so much sense. It's really great to know, and I wish I would have known it before, and I can't wait to use more of it.
Hoglund says practice makes perfect. The key to the success of these techniques is to use them consistently and think like a cow. Judy Simpson, Channel 3 News, Richmond.
Dr. Hoglund joins us now here in the studio, along with UVM Extension veterinarian and dairy specialist Julie Smith. Thank you both for coming in.
Glad to be here.
Julie, give us a sense of why you brought Dr. Hoglund here to Vermont to teach, talk, discuss stockmanship training.
Well, it's been an interest of mine for several years to get some more training in stockmanship. And I knew some veterinarians were doing dairy stockmanship training, and it was something that I felt I could benefit from. You know, I certainly learned some principles of animal handling when I was in veterinary school, but what I was seeing and hearing was different and seemed to me maybe a better way of handling animals, a way to keep the stressors in the herd lower. And so I wanted to bring that to Vermont and train myself and train some farmers. And when I called the number on the dairy stockmanship site, I got in touch with Don Hoglund, and he was happy to work with us.
Well, I also think, too, and we deal with this a lot on Across the Fence, that idea that Extension, and to a larger extent the broader university, is bringing experts to campus, to communities around Vermont. And so I just wanted to say I think it's great that not only you brought them here, but you brought them into Across the Fence. So thank you.
Great.
Don, give us a sense. What is, we saw a little bit in Judy's video, what is dairy stockmanship about?
Dairy stockmanship, as we teach it in applied behavior, is about safe, efficient animal handling anywhere in animal agriculture. Anyone can learn more efficient method, but we begin by teaching people how animals learn. And from there, we work together with producers, farmers, industry participants, and universities on just how animals learn and how we can apply it on any farm, anywhere.
Talking with you before the program, one of the things that fascinated me, I even wrote down the two words, everyone and efficient. And I'm not distrusting you, but that idea that you can do this for everyone is fascinating to me. You're telling me that you can teach me, as an example we talked before the show, having sheep. I think that's fascinating.
My efforts, as are the efforts of all educators, is to teach everyone in the classroom, even the timid and even the resistant. And those are our goals, is to be sure that everyone in the class learns nearly the same material. I can't teach you talent. That talent is something you practice, as in the case of a piano.
Yep.
But I can teach you how animals learn and perhaps help you be more comfortable in and around all ages of animals in agriculture. Today, we're talking about dairy cattle.
Well, you have also a rich and long history of doing it. I noted your background includes some animal care and handling for the movies and other industries. Can you tell us a little bit about that background?
I come from Colorado State University as a veterinarian, and upon graduation, I went to Santa Fe, New Mexico. And in New Mexico, we film a lot of movies. Live entertainment has a lot of animals, including commercials and other feature film. And so producers began coming to me to talk about how can we do this safely and humanely. It's a requirement in the animal feature film industry and live entertainment. I was glad, because of my background in training animals in college, before college, and after college, to help producers teach everyone on the movie set that an animal learns from every interaction, and how to do it humanely and safely. The consuming public is very concerned about humane treatment of animals. That is our objective.
Very nicely said. I do want to mention that joining us now is Rachel Gilker. Rachel is with the Caring Dairy Program. And Rachel, you also played a key role in the recent workshops and some of the education, recruiting farms for some of the workshops. Based on some of your experience, will you give us some insight as to how stockmanship training relates to this piece of animal welfare that Dawn is talking about?
Well, animal care is really important, both for the farmer and all the people working with the animals, and for the animals themselves. And having calmer animals means you have a safer working environment. And that's really important. And it also means that the farm itself can feel more confident that they're doing right by their animals, that their animals are that they are not going to be hurt, and that they are not going to be stressed. Putting more stress on an animal just doesn't work for either the person or the animal. So that's why we're really happy to have this programs going on.
And this is what your work in the Caring Dairy Program is focused on in large part?
The Ben & Jerry's Caring Dairy Program works in all areas of dairy farm management, and the efforts are both environmental and social and animal based. So animal well-being and animal care is an important part of the component of dairy farming, as you mentioned.
Yep. Don, I've hinted around the edges here. Let's cut to the chase. How do cows learn?
Cows learn as do almost all animals. They learn through trial, error, and reinforcement. And we try to simplify it. Animals try things. If it works for them, they tend to repeat it. And we promote those behaviors through reinforcement. What is reinforcement? The timing, the intensity, the rate of speed that we move. An animal is responding to our presence and our action in a given environment. We teach handlers how to micromanage their own behavior in order to manage an animal's behavior. Thus far, it's been very effective.
Well, remind me again, you mentioned three pieces, and I missed the third one. The trial, error, and reinforcement. Okay.
Animals learn primarily through reinforcement, reinforcing the behavior that you just created in the animal.
Rachel touched on this, Judy touched on it in the piece, that new environments, they're not just considered, they are stressful to cows and other animals. Can you give us an example of making something that's new not new, if that makes sense, to a situation that will be less stressful, taking something new and make it not new?
A cow that is just calved for the first time will be introduced to the milking parlor. How you make the milking parlor not new is to introduce the cow to the milking parlor earlier in her life, or in something that looks like the milking parlor. Another thing to do is to slowly put two groups of cattle together when they come from perhaps one pasture and another pasture into a freestall barn, perhaps. We teach them to learn each other over a fence before we just immerse the new behaviors together. There are virtually hundreds of places on your farm that you can make new not new.
Mm-hmm. Is it a problem if, I'll use an I statement, is it a problem if I think that I know what an animal is thinking or feeling? Is that a problem?
Let's suggest that it's not a problem for 80 or 90% of the animals anywhere in agriculture. It's not a problem. Where it becomes a problem is if a cow is not entering the parlor and we make the assumption that it is because she has an attitude. She did it yesterday. She has an attitude and doesn't want to do it today.
Yeah, stubborn comes to mind.
It confuses us when we do that. So let's do this. Let's assume we know what she's doing and then look for the precipitator for why she stopped. And then try to encourage her to always face the destination, the parlor.
Yeah. Rachel, I'm going to turn back over to you. We have a few minutes left here. Okay. What would you say were the biggest takeaways from the workshops that you've had around the state?
Good question. One of our farmers was really happy about the idea that just being calmer was important. And
human calmness.
Yes. Basically, a calmer farmer means a calmer cow. Shouting at a cow is just as stressful as coming at them with a stick. Just about as stressful as coming at them with a stick or hitting them. So the idea of keeping your voice calm and staying calm is so important. All the farmers that have come to the programs this week, have been really positively responding to this experience and wishing, that maybe more of the people working on their farm could come, but they've all been saying, we're going to take this information back, tell everyone about it. And just to let folks know that one of the main things was staying calm. Shouting raises that stress level, and it just really removes the possibility that you're going to have to wait 20 minutes or so for everything to calm back down, the adrenaline rush. And one of the things Don was talking about was just that increasing adrenaline reduces oxytocin, and that means your milk drop is not going to be as effective. And I don't want to get into the terminology as much, but
no, but your point is well taken.
More stress, less milk.
Less milk, yeah. So you've answered this follow-up question, which is really who benefits from the training, and Don's hit on it. Everyone. Efficiently, safely, and those are, again, with about a minute left here, Don. That's the real take-home in part today. Everyone efficiently and safely.
It is the take-home message. And if we teach anything of 5 points to take home on any training, it is to teach that it can be safe, it needs to be efficient. That comes through understanding how animals learn, and then where to stand and how to move. Everyone can learn it. We teach all over the world. Dairy people are the finest people around, as are people in agriculture. I come from agriculture. I'm pleased to be here today. I thank the University of Vermont. I thank Ben & Jerry's Caring Dairy program. That is why I'm here. I understand who our hosts are, and they're doing a wonderful job. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming in, and I want to thank both Rachel for being with us from Caring Dairy and Ben & Jerry's, and Julie Smith from UVM Extension for pulling this all together. So thank you both. And we want to thank our viewers for joining us. We know you have choices, so thanks for choosing us. I'm Will Michael, inviting you to join us back here each weekday afternoon for another visit Across the Fence.